What happens when we die? Is there an afterlife? Do we go to heaven? Or even worse, hell? Can we communicate with the dead? And if we can, should we? Let's find out.
What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Pedro Paranormal. As always, I'm here with my longtime friend and co-host Carlos, aka the Technician, and I'm your host Tony, aka the Communicator. So, as you might have noticed on the title of this video, we're going to be doing a Ouija Board unboxing today. And not only that, but we're going to be talking a little bit about the history, how the board came to be. But before we get started with the unboxing, I do want to say something real quick. I want to actually thank all the people that saw the first episode, the San Pedro haunting episode. It actually did pretty good. We didn't expect it to do so well.
We had a lot of positive reviews on that one.
Yeah, for our first video, I think we did pretty good.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and also thank you for subscribing and liking the video and sharing it. A lot of you shared it. And some of you actually even follow us now on our Facebook page. We have a San Pedro Paranormal Facebook page now. And also, another thing, I wanted to thank another YouTuber. His YouTube channel is Ethen Clerc Show. It's a podcast he does, and he's been doing it for a while now. And he actually mentioned our channel on his last episode.
That's wonderful.
So I think that gave us a little bit of a boost. So thank you very much. And
we'll add a link to his account in the description right below.
Yeah, we'll try to add a link at the bottom. Ethen Clerc Show. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the unboxing of this board here. Do you want to do the honors? You want to? Oh, cut? Yeah. You want to cut the seal? Do we have something to cut the seal?
I think so. We're gonna cut the seal. It's taped up right now. It's not factory sealed, I believe, but.
This board, go ahead, you can open it. Okay. This board, I actually purchased it on the marketplace that we have on Facebook. There's a page called the San Pedro Yard Sales, I think it's called, and I got it for $5. So, not too bad. $5.
$5 would be the death of you.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get this thing open.
Let's move the coffee over here.
Yeah. We kind of move things around today, just to get a better view of this thing.
All right, let's see.
So go ahead.
How spooky is this?
So anyways, while he's opening it, let's talk a little bit about the history. Supposedly, or not supposedly, actually, this board, the Ouija board, was manufactured by a guy named Elijah Bond, and this was in the 19th century. And I believe the reason he came up with it, I guess he must have been a businessman, right? Trying to make some money. Mm-hmm. But he did it during a time, I think it was after the Civil War, right?
Right.
Civil War, and that's a time when a lot of people were, they were in what would you call it, mourning from their dead
brother versus brother,
and
yes, a lot of deaths around.
Yeah, so before the board, of course, it's always been psychics and mediums and all that stuff. But this guy came up with an idea of how to, kind of bring the psychic to your house, without, I guess, not a lot of people knowing, because it was kind of, even today, going to a psychic or a medium is still kind of, uncomfortable, I would say.
Right, it is. But this is very popular also in the 1920s when everybody was getting, there was a little fad, a little trend with the spirit world, right? Communicating with ghosts and
yeah. Actually, I think the 1920s was when it actually peaked. There was a moment where it actually outsold Monopoly.
Really?
The Monopoly game. So, and the Monopoly game was already big back then too. So, to outsell Monopoly. And I think what in the 1920s what happened too, what gave it a little boost was the whole thing that it was kind of what do you call it when they make it for a certain age group. And I think today too, it's still ages 8 and up. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what gave it a little, intrigued more people to actually play with it, and it became more like a family game, right? I think that's one of the things that it said online, that people kept it at home, and when friends and family would come over, they would actually play it, part of the thing. But
So let's
Anyway, let's
talk
go
about
ahead. Let's go
this
ahead
thing.
and.
Now this isn't a newer one, right? It's Hasbro.
Yeah. This is not the old school original ones. I think the original ones were actually made out of wood, right?
Yeah.
And this is
this
most
one.
likely cardboard.
Yeah. That'll
Yeah.
hold. Maybe not.
So let's see.
Put it right here next to Tobin Spirit Guide.
So here we could see it comes with this plastic. They call this a planchette, right?
The planchette, yes.
The one that it's supposed to move around the board when you put your fingers on it and it'll pick, whatever it's trying to spell through this. You see it through this little plastic lens here.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the past, was it just a piece of glass, right? Or was it always a planchette?
I think it's always been a planchette, but it was made out of wood.
Made out of wood.
And I know what you're talking about. It was there was people that actually, if you couldn't afford one of these, they would make their own at home, and then they would use a glass cup, right, to as a planchette, which would basically be the same thing.
Okay.
So Elijah Bond was the one that that made this popular, and according also to what we read online, let me see here. Oh yes, the name of the board. You remember how that came to be, right?
Yeah, it was a different name, right? Before.
Yeah, when he barely made it was called a talking board.
The talking board.
Yeah. So. But then, supposedly, when he was playing, he asked the board, like, what would you want to be called, named, and the board said, Ouija or Ouija.
Ouija.
Yeah.
And that.
Go ahead.
Oh, and that's actually an ancient name, right, from the Egyptian times.
That's the thing, because after, I guess, when that happened, he asked the board, like, what does that mean? And the board answered with that it meant good luck in supposedly some ancient Egyptian language or something. But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and take the board out.
Okay, I've never done this before. Never used it. Actually touched the Ouija board in my life.
Oh, you never played with one ever?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, first time. So what? Okay, this is just like a cover here, right? So it's just the example.
The instructions.
Oh, the instructions here. Mm-hmm. The little list of something. What does this say here? Never use the Ouija board if you think it's just a game. Never use the Ouija board alone. Never use the Ouija board in a cemetery. Never leave the planchette on the Ouija board when you aren't using it. That's probably why they have this with the planchette holder.
Oh, that's right.
It just keeps it suspended.
So it has rules,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
never forget to say goodbye to the Ouija spirits.
Mm.
So I guess a lot of respect, right?
And you know what? Those rules kind of remind me, because they kind of apply to today's, the ghost hunting methods that people use today with the EVP recordings. With either the recorders or the the PSB7 spirit box. It kind of has the same kind of rules where you're supposed to, at the end, you don't just stop doing the EVPs. You actually have to say, I hope you're at peace, and I meant no disrespect. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting that has kind of very similar rules.
Similar rules, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the board itself, right at the bottom here. Let's bring that up.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Does it fold out?
Maybe we should have done one of the Stranger Things Ouija boards. That probably would have more stuff in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's your basic. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what a Ouija board looks like.
There's nothing much in the rear end of it. Just the design that's the same pattern that's in the front.
And they kind of try to make it look like, I guess, the original, like wood.
Right. A wooden board.
A wooden board when it's really a cardboard.
Yeah, the planchette's supposed to be also wooden, like you mentioned.
With a piece of glass in the viewer.
So it says Ouija. To the left here it has a sun with yes, and on this side it has a moon that says no when you ask it certain yes or no questions. The letters of the alphabet, numbers 1 through 0 here. Goodbye, and I think that's it.
Yeah, and some of you might not know this, but the Ouija board, I think it also did a little comeback during the 70s. Right?
Big movie.
Yeah.
It was a big movie that brought it back.
The Exorcist, and I know everybody's heard of that movie. But it not only did it help it make a comeback, but it actually also scared a lot of people away from it. So it attracted people, but then at the same time pushed people away, because in the movie the main character, she's playing with the board and she ends up getting possessed by the demon, right? the demon that contacted her through the board, and that's how she got possessed, and the whole spinning heads. And
was it Captain Howdy or
something like that? Something Howdy. Yeah. So that I think that's what gave the board such a bad reputation, you could say.
Yes, and then sales dropped after that, right?
Yeah, because a lot of I guess religious groups started like talking about it, like at church, how you shouldn't play it because of the devil. But I think it was all the hype from the movie.
Which takes us to the next topic of this is pretty much family or history of Ouija board would you have experienced with your family and friends?
Well, I believe the only experience I ever had with it personally was when I was in high school, and we had a friend that owned one of these. I don't think it was one of this exact same one, but I think an older model. And we actually used to go. We went to Fort MacArthur, the military base here in San Pedro, and we played it there. Speaking of Fort MacArthur, we're actually going to do a video on that place soon.
Yes.
So we got some good EVPs there. But so we went there, and I think it was a group of like four kids, and we all tried it, and I mean I tried it and it didn't move for me, and even when I tried it with someone else it wouldn't move. But then when our friend, the owner of it, would try it moved. So I don't know.
So you guys were doing it individually, one?
No, well, we did it two. I think it's better if you do it with two people.
With two or more, right?
And more energy or something. But so when I tried it, it didn't move for me. So I'm kind of skeptical about it, because talking about being skeptical, a lot of people believe that when the planchette moves on the board, it's not actually anything like a spirit or a demon. They actually believe it's your subconscious. That because when you play the board, you're supposed to focus and kind of like blank out a little. So a lot of people think it's your subconscious answering the questions,
right?
And that's the reason why a lot of times it gets the right answer. And I think they even did a study where they blindfolded people and made them play the Ouija board, and it wouldn't work. It would end up just misspelling all kinds of stuff. So
it's visual and a little bit of your motor skills.
Yeah. But you never know. I mean, what if it is the actual spirit uses your body to actually move it? It could be that too, and it's not that it's moving the actual planchette, but actually moving your hand.
Yeah.
It could be that. But I think. Let me see. Yeah, I think that was the only time I ever actually touched one of them, and now. But
what I've mentioned earlier was that I've never used one. This is my first time touching one, but I've heard stories. Well, just one story. One of my buddies named Edgar, back in probably the 90s, we were just talking about random stuff, and the Ouija board came up, and it was one of those things like, you should never play with that, this and that.
You already had that reputation.
Right, they already had that reputation that there's no way of getting rid of it. If you burn it, if this happens to you, if you destroy it, it comes back. The only way to get rid of a Ouija board is to gift it to somebody and they have to accept it. But it's
almost like a bad horror movie,
right?
Which they have actually made a few of them with the Ouija board.
Several of them, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like 6 or 7 movies.
Right.
And even recently, I think like a couple years ago, they took out the Ouija board movie, which kind of wasn't that good. But also, what happened to your friend? Did that happen to your friend, or he just?
No, I think he was just mentioning it, but it happened so long ago that I don't really remember the story too well. But it was along that lines that you cannot destroy it, you cannot, remove it from your home. It'll come back.
It seems like the stories you hear about the board are always like almost like what do you call it when somebody tells somebody and then that person tells somebody else, and then it was my uncle's cousin's neighbor's roommate that had the experience.
Yeah, it was decades ago and we were younger, so now I look at this, I'm like, okay, just.
But you know what? I did know somebody else that actually told me a story about it, and they said that they had purchased the one that glows in the dark, because they do have a glow in the dark one, and that they played it and everything started all good and dandy, and it would say nice things to them, and they were speaking to like kids and stuff. But then eventually it went dark, and it started saying bad stuff, nasty stuff. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, what do you think? Real or fake?
I've never used one before, and I don't plan on using one, so just leave it at that.
Yeah. No, we're not gonna play it. We're just.
I forget her name, but there was a famous author.
Oh, that's
that
right.
pretty much wrote several books, successful back in the 20s too, right?
Yes.
She had no education, no skills in writing anything, and she went onto the Ouija board and came out with bestsellers.
The Ouija board's a writer.
So maybe it might do some good, but
yeah, and you know what? Speaking about speaking about people that like that lady, also I think you could put it down.
Yeah.
There's that famous rock star. What's his name?
Alice Cooper.
Yes, Alice Cooper, because that's not his name, right? That's his stage name. Supposedly he got his name from the Ouija board. Like he played the Ouija board, and the Ouija board told him, you got to use Alice Cooper as your name, and you're gonna be famous and all this stuff. So who knows? But you know what? We're gonna take a little break right now, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Right now, you know what? When we went on break right now, me and Carlos were actually talking about a little bit about about what is it that people actually communicate. If this thing is real, what are people communicating with? I know a lot of people, especially religious people, believe it's demons and the devil and all that stuff. But there's also people that actually believe that they might be interdimensional beings, So it could be, I guess.
You could open up a wormhole, a portal or something.
Or like you said,
something else.
Or like you said, it could be aliens. Yeah, but you know what? I was gonna mention one more, story that my mom actually told me. She's always told that story. It never gets old. And that was that when she was younger and she was in Mexico, she actually stayed at a boarding school. They didn't have money, and her parents put her in a boarding school. And of course, where there's young kids and stuff, and curiosity, and especially in Mexico where there's so much, like witchcraft. They believe so much in witchcraft and
the old stories.
Yeah, doing the cleansings and all that stuff, limpias. They actually made a Ouija board, like it said online, with just paper, and I don't know if they use the glass to move it, but they play the. Go ahead.
It probably just needs like a pointer on it, because this doesn't really magnify a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just maybe one X, maybe one times.
Or you could even maybe make one out of paper too, or cardboard. The planchette.
Yeah.
But so they used to play it, and she said that what happened, I guess, at night, they would hear like somebody running. Like I guess they would all sleep in a big room, and they would hear like it would be pitch black. And they would hear somebody running back and forth in the room and scratching at the door. The scratching at the door. But again, that could have been kids tricking kids.
Yeah. Playing pranks on each other.
Playing pranks on each other. But she I think we hear that story once a year.
Yeah.
But it's fun to hear about it. So I think that's about it, huh? About
pretty much.
The Ouija board.
Yeah, I'd like to give out a shout out to Minty Comedic Arts. He uploaded a video on YouTube. We'll put a link down below that explains a lot more than we can about the Ouija board. A lot of history is on that video, and we'd like to thank him for uploading that video. It's Minty Comedic Arts.
Yeah, because we did get some of the info from other YouTube videos. We kind of researched a little bit YouTube, a little bit just websites, a little bit, but mostly all of them said the same thing. Even the YouTube videos, they all say the same thing about the board. But before we finish up, I do want to let the viewers know that, because I've had a few people ask me, like, where are the EVPs? Where are the videos of the ghost hunts? This is supposed to be a ghost hunt channel. Mm-hmm. But it's more of a variety show, really. We're going to be doing like podcast style, and we are going to be doing EVPs.
Yeah, we're just going to tease them. That's all. It's coming.
Yeah, those. I think the next episode we make is going to be the Queen Mary episode. And we're going to be, talk a little bit about the Queen Mary, and we actually have EVPs from a ghost tour, that they do there on the on the weekends. I think it's from 11 to 2 in the morning. And I did get some pretty good recordings there. And go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to get those recordings and put them on the next episode with a nice little display with subtitles so you guys can follow with us of what we're hearing. And maybe the next time around, we'll actually go to a site like the Queen Mary and do some more EVPs.
Yeah, we do want to go back to the Queen Mary because I think the first time we weren't really prepared. It was when I barely started, so I didn't know I was going to eventually use it on a YouTube channel. So that will be the next episode. The Queen Mary episode with the EVPs, I promise. Also, we're going to be doing a giveaway of this Ouija board here. So if you're a local here in San Pedro, or maybe one of the neighboring cities like Wilmington, Carson, right. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Well, actually, everybody like, share, subscribe. But if you're interested in winning the board, go on our San Pedro Paranormal Facebook page and follow us and leave a comment. Just saying like the word Ouija. Mm-hmm. And we'll pick a person randomly. To see.
Yes.
We'll get to, and we'll announce it of course on the next episode.
It'll be fun to participate. Plus, we want to get rid of this thing.
Yeah, I don't want to keep this in my house. I don't want to walk in here one day and all my stuff is thrown all over the place.
We could.
But I think that's it, right? Do you have anything else you want to add before
that's
we?
It. No, I think we're done for today.
We're done.
We covered pretty much everything we could about this Ouija board here. It was fun experiencing this for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not as scary, huh?
No, not this version. I mean, if we find another one,
100-year-old board
with a stronger lens, has some history to it, then who knows?
Yeah, because I guess it would have like some kind of, like you'd be thinking who played with this last, or who did they contact on this thing?
And if it was, instead of being printed like this, if it was like bound in blood, it would be a little scarier.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Hey, man. You want to play?